Good morning, I'm Michael from Mo Monster Gaming, and if you enjoy the video, please like and subscribe. So today I am looking at my Pretenders action figures, and they're a series of very limited articulated figures from 1988 and 1989. I have a very small collection of them here, and this and this. So these are Bomburst and Cloudburst. And I got this one for Christmas. My brother got this one for Christmas. And they are big, big action figures. But if you're already here, you probably know the secret. They are no normal action figure. They are, in fact, shells to pop open. And inside there is a transformer. So they are the ultimate masters of disguise because they don't look like a transformer to begin with. So let's clear some space. So like I said, these are the first two that I got. So this is a Decepticon, this is Bomburst. Comes with this kind of, I don't know, axe-like weapon. We have guns. The guns actually split into two because they form part of the vehicle, and then has this kind of rubber belt. But as we pop open inside, pop that back, inside we have the robot. So this is in its kind of like going in the shell form. But if we open them up, very, very simple transformation, a little bit stiff because they are now very, very old. But this would be the robot, and then we'd have guns on the side. Now, when in robot mode and actually out of the shell, in the comics, they could control their shells at the same time as they moved around themselves. Like they could puppet them even when they're not inside them. Now, it transforms. Let's have a quick look. How's this gonna go? I think it's quite a basic one. So let's pop a fin out. Oh. Probably. And then these bits, I want to say they're going to become the wings. It's kind of like some strafing attack craft. So that's Bomburst. And then this is Cloudburst, who whip comes off, gun off, helmet off. This one you actually have to take the belt off of. And then shell together. And then there's the robot flopped out from inside. And then this one's got a little bit more to do. We've got wings. And then, oh yeah, we've got a nose that pops out. Obviously, it's been many, many years since I've transformed these guys. And then goes over. And then this actually goes underneath. So there you go, like a plane. Now they featured very, very heavily in the Marvel UK comics. So this is Transformers 207, and there is Bomburst on the front being rammed. And then here's Bomburst again. This one no longer have the temporary tattoo, but there's Bomburst again on the front of 233. So these were the weekly Marvel UK ones. Now, I particularly like this story, and this has these kind of mechanibals, little robots that eat people. And if I flick through here, we have Cloudburst going on a mission with some of the other ones. So as we can see, they're actually kind of giant compared to the other people. But the idea was these suits were the masters of infiltration. So nobody knew you were a Transformer if you were wearing one of these giant shell suits. But in the story, they're captured by the mechanibals, which they then have to escape. And then here in this one, we see that even though the Mechanibals use a giant magnet to pull them out of their shells, they can still remote control the shell suits to do fighting, even when the robots aren't inside. And I always thought that was very cool. So the Pretenders had a massive advertising campaign. Here's the advert off the back of one of the comics. So 3 modes: open the shell, and then you got the robot on the vehicle, but the shell reassembles to produce an action figure. So they did 2 waves of these big ones, plus they did vehicles that opened up and had another transformer inside the vehicle, and they did all manner of them, including monster ones. And I particularly like the Decepticon ones. I thought they were really, really interesting looking action figures, even if they didn't do much moving around, not much articulation. So when my wife and I first got together, I was very fortunate. She bought this for me. This is Catilla. Came in its very nice box here. Just having a quick flick around, looking at the back. This is the late 80s picture that they used to have on the back of all the boxes. Pretenders hide the Transformers inside. So like big on concept. So at this point, the 2 key parts of Transformers were Power Masters and Pretenders, and pretty much any figure that you got either came with a Power Master little minifig or was a Pretender. Spin it around. I do always like the info barkers on the back, the tech specs, and it shows bust Catilla open, and then we have transforming a few moves and then into the finish. Now here they are, so I'm going to prise them open, take the gun off, and then hopefully this will pop apart nicely. So opening them up, there inside is Catilla. So legs down, very, very basic, these Transformers inside them. Shove a gun on top. Got a little mouth that I want to say opens and closes. No, it doesn't appear to. There we go. And then robot mode, I think, is pretty much it just standing up. There you go. Flip out some hands. Actually, I think there we go. So very, very simple figures. Now, to answer whether or not it actually worked as a concept, I always believed that while the action figures, the kind of creature ones looked quite cool, I was never sold on the figure ones, you know, unless it's like Octopunch here, like it's like an obscure, monstrous looking figure. I never thought the figure ones worked very well. And I didn't for one second ever believe that anyone was going to believe that it wasn't a Transformer. But this is Chain Claw. And I actually found him in a toy shop. And it was a toy shop that had a Transformers section, but it wasn't in the Transformers section. It was in with the He-Man stuff. So somebody, whoever did the inventory in the toy shop, obviously it was loose, wasn't in his box, had no idea it was a Transformer. And I remember when I purchased it, the shopkeeper, as I was talking to him about it, had no idea that in fact the shell would open and inside would be the Transformer. So I guess conceptually it must have worked, because the shopkeeper had no idea that he was sitting on a Transformer in his shop. There you go, there's Chain Claw. In fact, it's pretty much exactly the same as Catilla. Even older characters weren't free from the experience of being turned into a pretender. So this muscular fella here is in fact Grimlock. And this got this gun, got this sort of sword, but actually gun comes off, sword comes off, helmet comes off, and then pop the shell open. And inside we have our robot. And there we go. There's a very, very small Grimlock, but does, if I remember correctly, transform quite nicely. Here's Grimlock's arms. Move the head up, and then this weapon here forms Grimlock's tail. They did quite a few of these. Well, 3 or 4 that were old classic characters given the pretender treatment. Now, my 2 favourites have to be the Decepticon here, Octopunch, and the Autobot Longtooth. And these were 2 of the last ones that they released. And I remember buying this one when I was a kid. It actually came on a bubble pack card, not in a box. And then this one came off of eBay a few years later. So actually it's got a bit dirty and dusty on the shelf. Now, Octopunch here on the front cover of one of the Marvel UK comics. I don't really remember them from the American comics. And inside features quite prominently in this black and white story, the aspects of evil. Always like the Marvel UK titles. Now, looking at Octopunch first, who is my all-time favourite of the Pretenders, has this helmet that comes off. Reveals face. Don't need to actually take the helmet off to open them up. Comes with this kind of like harpoon gun. And then we have crab claws on the back. And then popping them open, inside we have little robot who actually just transforms like that. So there's little robot, little gun fits on their shoulder, tiny, but more exciting is, again, only a couple of steps to transform them, but they turn into a crab. The claws actually form part of the backpack. And like most of the creatures, this was probably my most played with Transformer. Really like it. Used to take it everywhere with me because it was very little and easy to put in your pocket. Longtooth, on the other hand, has these awesome tusks. One of the rare examples of a kind of bestial Autobot. Quite like the gun. Always imagine him like an old hunter with like a sniper rifle and gun. And then this actually comes off. This forms part of the vehicle. And then popping them open inside. I always think it looks a little bit like a boat. But that's it. That's the vehicle. Quite straightforward. Oh, actually, let's clip this on the top. That's the very straightforward car vehicle. And I still always think it looks like a boat. And then actually it transforms super simply. Again, a few more steps than Octopunch, but still not many. Flip legs, move that down, there you go, done. So what I also like about these bubble pack ones is they always included a space inside for the gun, which I think is a really cool extra touch. So there we go. My Pretenders, my Transformers Pretenders collection. It's not massive by any means, but I'm still super pleased with the ones that I got. And most of these are my ones from when I was a child in the 80s. Thank you very much for looking. Take care.